Hello again. In my last video, I talked about a short film that I directed that I also wrote, and I also mentioned that I think it would be fun to make kind of like behind the scenes videos and talk about the making of the film. I don't have really anything to make into a proper behind the scenes video. I gotta make sure I grab some permission from people about certain things first, and make sure some people are comfortable with me doing that in showing some behind the scenes photos, videos if there are any, maybe even stuff from pre-production like the audition process and things like that. So those hopefully are coming as long as everybody's cool with it. But I thought I'd make at least like a preliminary video to share things that I know for certain I can share. Mostly pre-production, maybe I'll get into production a little bit, but I'll just dive right into it. Where did I come up with the idea and what is the idea? Well, the short is about fixers or cleaners. And if you don't know what those are, think of in Pulp Fiction, Harvey Keitel's character who shows up and helps them clean the body out of the back of the car. They work for gangsters and mobsters, criminals. They clean up dead bodies or any crime scene that might need covering up before the police get there. So these two characters show up at a crime scene, and then it's a case of mistaken identity / wrong place, wrong time, where they are mistaken for the killers. And cleaners are supposed to have this immunity to make the whole ecosystem work. You know, like you don't fuck with the guys who are covering up the crime scene, because if they go down, there's the potential that everybody goes down. So you just let them do their job. I don't know what that accent was there at the end, but basically the cleaners get grabbed by people who think that they did the killing. And so I won't go into any more details from there, but that's the gist of it. The original idea I had back in high school, however many years ago that was, and it was a much more convoluted and complicated plot. I was heavily inspired by films like The Usual Suspects and Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, where it was a story told out of order. And so there were like gangsters who blamed the cleaners for something, so they went after the cleaners, but the cleaners had a contingency plan, and they had a guy who would make sure that they never got fucked with. And that guy is dating a girl who's a part of this gang, and there was way too much going on. And ultimately I was like, I've lost track of what the fuck this film even is trying to be. And it was really just a product of me being really inspired by non-linear films. And everything I wanted to make at that time in my life was non-linear in some way, shape, or form. And so ultimately that sat on the back burner up until fast forward to during lockdown. I was getting bored. I started making YouTube videos. After about a year doing that, I started to get hungry to make something more, something bigger. And I started going through my back catalog to see what I had on the back burner. What were projects that I wanted to make later in life, because now is later in life, I guess. And I came across this script of this old gangster crime film. And I thought it sucked, but I was kind of feeling just the cleaners portion, just that. So I sat with it, kind of workshopped it a bit, and then after thinking on it and taking some notes on it after a couple of days, I cranked out like a rough draft in like 4 or 5 hours. And I sent that to my buddy who looks at a lot of my scripts. He was very supportive of it. He ultimately became my assistant director, and he was very encouraging. I think typically when I send scripts to people in general, there's more constructive criticism than there is just, hey, it's good. And he is very good at giving constructive criticism. He's very good at helping make my scripts better, I think. And on this one, he not only gave me good feedback, but he was also like enthusiastic about it. Or at least I felt he was enthusiastic about it. And that kind of emboldened me and made me send it off to more people. I felt really confident in it. And then one of the people who read it would go on to become my producer, and she did a fantastic job. Both of them would go above and beyond their roles of producer and first AD and did so much for the film. I won't name drop them now. There's a chance you both might watch this video. If you want to take credit, go ahead and put yourself in the comments. If you're cool with it, I'll name drop you in later videos. But they did a fantastic job. They were encouraging, and they helped me get into pre-production. What did pre-production look like? Probably what I would assume is very straightforward for a film of this size. We put out a casting call. We started assembling a crew. We did table reads and chemistry reads. And we were trying to figure out a date when we were going to shoot it. So we were really hoping to film in October, November. And then the guy we wanted to DOP the film was available in November, so that narrowed it down to when we were going to film it because we really wanted him. He also did a fantastic job. And we settled on filming in early November over the weekend. And from there, I guess it was just doing some final, like some last, just doing meetings and getting shit ready. And so fortunately, there's a local film community in the town I live in the city I live in, and I had a bunch of credit with them and was able to use that to rent our gear. Extremely fortunate for that. I also had a hell of a lot of support from my producer. You're the best. My girlfriend was also generous, and I love her to bits, donated some money to the film. She's extremely supportive, very thankful for her. And I burnt myself out before production, just working nonstop so I could have some money saved to make the short. And yeah, so then we're in October. We have our locations. A local film family here was extremely generous in donating their house to us for a Saturday night, and they were like, go fucking nuts. As long as you clean up, you can get blood on whatever you want. And so that was awesome. I had to take advantage of some situations, it's like, hey, can I borrow your generator? Stuff like that. And again, people were very generous, very, very, very fortunate. Thank you. And we got to a point where the next most exciting thing, I guess, was making the body parts. There are some severed limbs in this film. And my producer fucking did a fantastic job. We had to make some hands, arms, legs, some fat and like muscle, and it looked amazing. Can't wait for you guys to see the actual effect in action, because I'm very happy with how it looked. It looked incredible. And it was her first time doing it. I think she did a great job. I wasn't there for really any of the actual molding and making of the body parts, but I was there for making the fake blood, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. It's stressful at first when you spend a lot of money on ingredients and it's not quite looking like how you want it to, but then you tweak the recipe a little bit and it starts coming out bueno. That was really exciting. I wanted to go for like a, not quite giallo where it's really bright and doesn't look anything like blood, looks more like red paint, but I also didn't want it to look super realistic. I was kind of trying to look for that middle ground, so hopefully we achieved that. I think we did. So just to summarize, it was an idea I had back in high school. I liked a particular part of it when I was bored during COVID and shortened it after writing a script and getting some positive feedback. We moved into pre-production. Pre-production was a lot of fun. We landed a really talented team of both part-time, full-time, and no-time filmmakers, people who work in the film industry sometimes they don't, and they kind of all came together really seamlessly. Even some of like the people who have no background in film, have careers in something else, but they were applicable in the film industry in some way, came over seamlessly. Everybody did a fantastic job. And yeah, so we moved into production. And we got extremely fucking lucky. The weather forecast for Friday, which was one of our only exteriors, we were filming out in the boonies, and the weather forecast, I don't know if you out there in the world have been looking at what's going on in BC right now, but was basically get ready for the storm of your life. And we were all getting like really anxious about it and like, oh shit, this is gonna get fucked up. We might have to cancel the day if there's hurricane winds, we can't film out in the stick. So I quite arrogantly was like, the weather's gonna be great. We're gonna have overcast skies, and that's it. And that's what you want. You want overcast. It's easier to light outside when it's overcast. So I was ignorantly, arrogantly, confidently going into Friday, hoping that we weren't going to get rained out. Friday rolls around, drizzled a little bit, perfect weather the rest of the day. And we did it before it got dark. And it's November in Canada, so it gets dark around 4 p.m. We started early in the morning, and we got everything we needed. and I'm happy with everything we got too. Saturday rolls around, we're filming out on an island, and we had to take a personal boat to get there, not like a main ferry. And so we're dependent on the wind. If it's too windy, we can't get to the island. It's raining, but no wind. We got there. It was fine. Got everything we needed. It was great. Last day, pissing rain, like torrential downpour. And we were all like, well, it's the last day. The shot looks fucking sweet. Let's just go with it. And we were joking and saying that, like, we'll say that we spent money on a really good rain machine or something. And it looked awesome. It looked really great. And we didn't have to be out in the rain for too long. And then we had pizza and it was great. But, like I said, if you've been paying attention to what's going on in BC, you'll know that a good chunk of the province is underwater right now, or was. And where we were filming on the Friday flooded and was inaccessible by car. So we lucked out there. We almost would have had to completely cancel the shoot if we had even started filming like 2 days later, even a day later, because it was raining quite a bit on the Saturday and we wouldn't have been able to film outside. It wasn't quite flooded yet on the Saturday, but it was raining too much. So even if we had even started a day late, we would have had to completely reschedule and maybe even cancel the production. So we got very lucky there. I am going to be picking up the film soon and taking over the edit. My assistant editor has sent me a screenshot or two and it looks great. I'm very excited. Great job, buddy. Go check out his YouTube channel, Aberration Pictures. So that's what I can share right now. More coming soon. I'm fucking stoked. And thanks for watching. And if you've watched this far into the video, really thank you for giving me your time. I really can't wait to share more about the short with you guys.